everybody. We are online now, and we are ready to start. And firstly, we would like to say a welcome speech from ASUS headquarters. Let me to introduce Adeline. Hey!
Okay, so thanks. So first of all, I would like to thank you everyone to be here, so at the Moscow Cyber Stadium. So the AOC this year it's a third edition, so the third time Vlad and ASUS Russia is doing the AOC. So the qualifiers that took place on ASUS in August and September of this year, it was 15 countries represented, and today you have the top 16 overclockers representing 10 different countries. So we are happy of that. So ASUS is proud to be part of the sorry. So ASUS is proud to be part of growing the community and to help overclocking to make a step forward to esports. So ASUS HQ and I would like to thank ASUS Russia and Vlad and his team to make this event happen. I think it's great to have a ASUS overclocking live event. We would like also to thank our partners, so Corsair, MicroExpert, and Ulmort. And also thanks ASUS and OCTV for their involvement in overclocking. And so we hope 2015 will be good for overclocking, and especially for like live events, and that you will be even more busy than ever. So I wish everyone good luck, and may the power of hardware be with you. Thanks.
So, our
Hey,
next stage
welcome everybody,
is,
and we are here at the AOC 2014. I'm your host Tim, and today I will be here with Albrecht. Hi Albrecht, how are
Hi.
you doing?
Very fine. It was like a hectic trip to get here yesterday,
Yeah.
but we finally made it, so all fine.
Yeah.
Amazing venue it is.
So right now they just finished a welcome speech, and they're going to have a short speech by Peter. So I think we can probably move back to the camera and listen to what he has to say quickly.
See from the lineup that the people attending here have proven their skill set before, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very exciting competition. So this is the third edition. We hope to see plenty more editions in the future. And for this competition, I wish everyone the best of luck. I'll be handling the scoreboard as neutral as possible. As part of the judging team, I have no preference of anyone winning. I just don't want Ian to win. So good luck to 7 teams and also a little bit team 8-pack. All right. Oh, and Team Der Bauer. Best of luck, everyone.
Thank you, Peter. And our next step is I would like to explain how we will do, how it's going, and so on. So on the main screen, you will see the final scoreboard, and you can see a timer, how many time left till the end of competition. On each screen here, you can see each stage with your results, which will be uploaded online and will be in real time. So for each table, we will have one judge, one person, which will respond for each team. And when you are doing screenshot, you should copy on USB stick your screenshot and provide it to your judge. So nothing special, everything as usually. And now we can start with a lucky draw for hardware. And I think we'll be honest if we will invite the teams in the list as they finish their qualifier. And if you was one qualifier, you should have a chance to try to pick your number first. So I would like to invite 8-pack and Der Bauer and Sam. It is one of our judge. You should memory, motherboard, and CPU. Everything as usually. No need SPD. Now you should choose one of the 8 numbers, and the number will mean which you will choose hardware. Let's see. Number 7. Somebody looks lucky. Wait, guys. No. So the second team is the team Denkop and Bench Bros from Germany. Number 4. Team number 3 is Wizardy from France and Raptor from Kazakhstan. Number 6. Next team, number 4, is Alex Ro from Romania and Perica Bari from Montenegro. Number 3. Next team is Team Greece, Mortis Boy and Fire Killer. Number 8. Next team is Team Russia, Smoke and 12. Number 1. Next team is Team 7, Extrema Dick and Giorgio Prima. Show us number. Number 5. And the last team is a team from France and Kazakhstan, John White and my address. They have a number 0. Number 2. You are lucky, guys. Our next step, we are going now. Please stay here. Maybe one by one. It will be more useful for everybody. And each team can choose hardware. Each team can choose 2 motherboard, 2 VGA, 2 SSD, 2 memory kits, and 2 CPU. So CPU, each team should choose one from this palette and this one from this. Doesn't matter which one motherboard you can choose. If you want this and this, it's okay. So no need to be in pairs. So first team is Team Russia, right? Smoke and 12. Let's start from CPU. Motherboard now. And VGA. SSD. Memory. Looks like they know where is the best hardware, yeah? Anyway, good luck. Because we already know who is won. I don't think so that some hardware can help you. The doesn't matter if their scores will be SLI. Massman already know all numbers. Doesn't matter, yeah. And for each team, we will choose a judge now. From my point of view, we'll be honest, we will help a little bit in communication between judge and team. And so, for example, if I think we'll be fine if they are Russian and we'll be Russian speaking. So, who won? No? Okay. Okay. Who? You? Okay. So Neoforce will be judged for the team Russia. The second team is the team from friends my address and Kazakhstan Terra Raptor. So, yeah, John White. Sorry, Eugene. Yeah, one key and one key. Yeah, CPU. Motherboard now. VJ, SSD and memory. And so I will help maybe somebody from my staff. Sergey, how about you? Sergey. It is your team. You will respond for this team. Who is number 3? Welcome. CPU first. Not now why, but everybody going from the center. It is like some rumors about the best Intel CPU. They should be in the center of the plastic, right? Something like here. Sam, okay, it's fine. Number 4, bench bros and dunk up. Hardware. And be careful with static, yeah. Number 5. Oh, wait, Judge. How about Petri? Petri, are you okay? Petri is here. Oh, Petri, this is Duncop. The next team is 5. Extreme Addict and Giorgio Prima. Be lucky, guys. Okay. Only 2 here. And one more thing. When you install a CPU in your socket, Judge should be see that you installing our CPU. No need use your own CPUs. Judge. Eugene, how about you? Who is next? Number 6? Okay. In hardware. Атерос? Атерос где? Алексей. Атерос. Alexei is your judge. Террораптор, твоя команда. Команда твоя, Террораптор. So the next team, Team Greece, Team 8-Pack and Team Dead Power. We don't have touch. So we are prepared a lot hardware for you guys, so you can choose CPU, motherboard, everything. You can take it all, yeah. Adeline, Team Greece is your team. And 8-Pack and Team Dead Power is my team. I will be your judge, guys. For each team, we will have a stick with the number of the team. And also, when you save your first screenshot on the USB stick, please create a folder with your nickname. Judge, everybody have a USB stick with the number of the team. You have? Атерос, где флешка лежит? Ну вот, Сэму нужна флешка, на которой записывать скриншоты. Result will be opened at 11:30. So you have more than 1 hour and 15 minutes for preparation. If you need liquid nitrogen for cooling CPU during preparation, you can use it. But first score can be submitted only after 11:30.
Alright guys, we are back and now the hardware draw is made. I think the guys are now starting to set up, so we can start talking and discuss a little bit more about what today is going to be about and what's going to happen in the next 8 hours, because it's going to be a very long day actually.
Yeah, it's going to be a very long day for the overclockers, but as well for the shoutcasters. So we're here, we're looking forward to it, and indeed the venue is looking from a tidy place into hardware hell at the moment.
Yeah,
They're
we went to a war zone pretty much.
Yeah.
There's luggages everywhere, as you can see. Everyone opened their stuff, unpacking their gear, so yeah. So before we start, maybe we should take a bit of time to introduce ourselves, because I think we started introducing ourselves before, but then they switched to another part of the opening ceremony. So, so Albrecht, can you tell us a bit more about yourself, so for the viewers to get to know you, and maybe tell us who is actually your nickname on the chat, because you're not even using your actual real nickname.
No, because I'm like very old and I tend to lose my password, so I have to change my login name like 10 times. So normally at HWBot or as an overclocker, I'm working under the name of Leeghoofd, so which means airhead in English. So a lot of people will start to laugh probably now. Doesn't matter. From Belgium, so same country as the overclocking lord Massman. He was in fact one of the guys that inspired me to start overclocking. And lucky for me, he lived really nearby, so could get into contact with him like really quick, and it was like only like 15 minutes drive, so very easy to do. And yeah, he teach me a lot of stuff. Not as good as him, probably will never reach his level, but I'm having fun anyway doing overclocking, so that's the main part. 41 years of age, girlfriend, kids, all the shabam, the normal daily life, let's say. But doing overclocking now, let's say for about 6 years.
Yeah.
And straight from water cooling, from the daily setups, let's say, straight to single phase. Got tired of it like after 6 months, because I was reaching again a frequency limit, and then went extreme with liquid nitrogen.
So you ramp it up pretty fast, right?
Pretty fast, yeah. Was pretty anxious in the beginning. And I saw straight water cooling, you hit your limits. You can maybe go to a water chiller, will be the same, maybe a loss of investment. Go single phase, and then finally indeed turned into the heavy stuff, liquid nitrogen. Never had the chance to try liquid helium, but I think that's over my budget anyway.
Oh yeah. All right. So For me, well, my name is Sim, and also I'm known under the nickname of Xiala. And on the chat, I'm actually using OverClocking-TV as a nickname. So if OverClocking-TV is talking, then it's actually me typing, unless someone hijacked my account or something like this,
Okay.
which sometimes happens.
It wasn't me this time.
So yeah, I'm French. I suppose my accent kind of gave it away, I suppose. So I'm working with OCTV to, what we do is basically we organize a broadcast for overclocking competitions. The overclocking community is pretty small. It's not such a massive thing as gaming, but it's a very active esports in a way that we have a quite structured way of having our tournaments
and it's growing.
OC
It's like
seasons and
expanding big
like
time.
I mean, this year has been really busy. There have been major competitions pretty much every 2 months if we round things up, without counting all the qualifiers and all the usual things and go off the season and things like that. So yeah, that's what I do most of my time if I'm not working a bit also for HW, but with Peter, right? So yeah, I think that's about it for the introductions.
Yeah, people are not really interested in us. They would just want to see the action going on.
The
live.
action is going on. So right now, what is happening is that the guys are setting up. So setting up is basically just mounting everything and testing.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Too bad we didn't could pose, let's say, all the questions to the participants, because usually they arrive late or they're too busy already having discussions amongst them. But I think for me what would have been interesting to know from the beginning is they have like 2 components of each. So 2 CPUs, 2 GPUs, and would have been fun, let's say, if we could go downstairs, let's say in 15 to 20 minutes, and just ask, okay, why did you pick this CPU? Or just going to quickly bin them, yes or no, or you're going straight for the die-hard action? Because the first benchmark they have to do is Cinebench, which is like really limited by raw CPU frequency. Okay, you can tweak it a little bit, but you need the extra power, all the power you can have. They have 2 CPUs, which have been pre-binned, but yeah.
So this means that they are probably very equal. Or like
let's hope that they're like
pretty
equal, that we don't get like a 200-300 megahertz difference between one team and another one. That should be a shame, because then probably this stage is already decided. But of course, I don't know if the guys already saw some of the interviews we had, but like Dankop said, which like a experienced bencher already, X99 is not easy to handle. So you need a good mount, you need good temperature control, and there are a lot of things going on with this new platform. So it's not always easy, and indeed some people can just max it out. Of course, these guys are not rookies, but we have a few teams here that haven't even touched X99, so it's their first time.
Okay.
So we'll see how they perform.
Yeah. So since we are setting up, we should have a look at the schedule for the day. So we're starting right now. We had the opening ceremony already, so this is done. We are going to have now hardware set up until 1:30 no, actually, 11:30 a.m. So this is a good hour from now that the guys have this hour to set up and so like you say, test everything, make sure it's all alright, and then they will actually go into the serious action and being able to start benching.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's we asked the teams a lot of questions, how they prefer their installation methods and stuff, and that's the thing that is going on right now. So we already see like paint strippers and stuff coming out. So they're setting up. They're going for it.
So in terms of benching, the day is going to be divided in 4 stages. That's how we call it in the overclocking vocabulary, right? I guess we can say it like this. So we will have a Cinebench R15, which is a processor benchmark. Yeah,
it's 2D. So that's the only 2D stage they did this year. Usually in most events we have like SuperPi or PiFast or stuff like that. Yeah. But I think in general, when we also asked some quick questions to the overclockers present, that the stages were well chosen. Yeah. So it should also allow some freedom more towards the tweaking and not only the raw megahertz, which is like interesting.
Yeah. So then we will have 3D stages, and that's actually one of the things that are particular about today's competition is that 70% of the whole points distribution for the competition is allocated to 3D benchmarking.
And they're even not happy because they wanted even more, because everybody's afraid about the Cinebench stage. Yeah. Because it's like a lot of points, and they say if the CPU is not good or good enough,
It's a big risk, right?
it's a big risk because you lose straight points. Yeah, but I also told him like it's 30 points for the winner, and then it goes down. It's not like you get 0. So maybe you can balance it out with a 3D.
Yep. So in terms of 3D stages, we do have 3D Mark 11. So 3D Mark 11 is a 3D benchmark that is that has a physics test, which is a subtest of the benchmark, which basically is requiring processor power.
Yeah.
So
well, of
the
course.
processor does play a role in this benchmark.
Yeah, but the thing is in physics as well, so you can boost the physics, but the total output of, let's say, on the final score is not that big. Even if you have like a huge physics boost, it's not that you're gaining like 100 points in 3D Mark 11. So it's still balanced clocks. You need good stable clocks to just, and of course there's always some luck involved. You can do the run at the same frequencies 3 times,
Yep.
and at a certain time it's just that little bit higher. And they have a lot of time to prepare.
Yeah, actually, yes. If we look at the schedule between 1:30 when it's the end of Cinebench, then they have actually they have almost 3 hours, right, until the end of the 3D Mark 11 round.
Stage. Yeah,
But it doesn't mean that you actually should just bench this one, because if we look at the schedule, all of the 3D benchmarks start at the same time.
Yeah. So they can submit straight.
Yes. So
As
if
soon
they
as
want,
they
they
run.
can bench all of them at the same time. They can pick the order they want. So they can choose to start with 3D Mark Firestrike, for example, 3D Mark Firestrike Extreme.
Yeah.
The time written down, so the 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, those are just the limit time to submit your score, your best score into that specific benchmark. But the strategy is really up to the guys.
Yeah, but when they said some guys will just post straight even clocks on air just to have a score set. Because you can, like you said, you can focus on one benchmark. Because you have the time schedule. You say, okay, we do Cinebench, entirely Cinebench first. It can be. Normally, ASUS hardware is like, they have the best motherboard for X99. I think nobody will doubt that at the moment. And
so,
of course,
so you would recommend what? In terms of strategy, I mean, like.
Yeah, and I told it at Computex as well for the G-Skill event. Just don't focus on one thing. Just make sure you have a score set for each stage already, straight from the start. Okay, it doesn't need to be air. You can straight build up to 5 gigahertz. That should be quite easy, and then just do your thing.
Yeah.
But of course, if they straight cool down the graphics cards now, you get condensation and yeah, okay, this is a well climatized area, but you never know what happens. And indeed, if you go into problems and you have to unmount, you're losing time.
Yes.
And it's always debugging. It's like
you don't want to waste time and just forget to submit one result to be in there, because actually having no result might just get you really
and there's
low
always
into
the
the
stress. You
rankings.
have the time limit, the constraint. People are watching you. People are coming over to ask you questions. So it's different from benching at home. Plus, indeed, you can make a score, but you have to make sure the score is valid.
Yes.
And we have seen it a lot on HWBot, missing SPD tabs, motherboard tabs, stuff like that, and the score is invalid. And there goes your...
Well, that's it, right? When you get so used to do something, you pay less attention to what exactly you're doing. And plus the stress of the competition, you're trying to do things fast, you're making sure that the system actually doesn't crash when you're doing your screenshot, which is probably the most annoying thing ever that could happen.
Indeed.
It happens a lot.
We all have been there.
So I mean, yes, you pay attention to all that, to the temperature at the same time you're doing, and then you're not focused on opening the right tabs, and that's where you actually, the judge has the right to ask you to rerun your benchmark in case there's something missing on the screen, right?
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
All right, so that's about it for the planning of the day. After that, there will be award ceremony, and then we will have a bit more time to probably have some of the winners come over here and just talk to us a little bit about how their day went and things like that. But I mean, till then, we have a lot of time. So it's going to be 8 hours.
8 hours
non-stop until the end of the competition, plus a little bit of extra. We've saw there's some guys from Chile, so it was I think 2 a.m. for our friend from Chile. So
and
it's going to be a long night for you, my friend.
The Canadian headman of OverClocking-TV also is awake. We have to wish him happy birthday first.
Actually, yes, Triffman, we should wish you a very happy birthday. Yes, keep pushing it, and yeah, we're looking forward to see you on the next event again. Today we are in charge. Sorry.
Please don't fire me yet.
Yes.
Give me a chance.
All right. So, that we talk about the schedule, I think we should just discuss a little bit how the finals are structured in terms of submissions. So the way it works, overclockers run the benchmark. They make a screenshot, which is a proof that you've run the benchmark and a proof of the frequencies you have,
Yeah,
a proof of the score that you got at the end, and then what happened after that.
Yeah, then normally they will pass like the score on a USB stick, and finally it arrives at the table just behind us, where Adeline or Massman will enter the score, and also that score can be completely followed up on the esports website.
Yeah.
So from
That's right.
HWBot.
So we're going to show you that later, how to follow the score submissions.
So indeed, all the viewers can straight click on the score, see the screenshots, maybe even detect some oversights that the judges didn't see. But normally everything should be fine. So all the correct SPD tabs and then CPU-Z stuff, GPU-Z.
Yeah.
And then the score is entered into the ranking, and that's one thing that we're looking forward to. We see the ranking just behind us. So once things start moving, now we have to fill the gap, of course, for the preparation time. But once everything starts moving, it will be quite interesting. And also we get, like in the beginning, a straight indication from who has which CPU, who has a good control, maybe the encore thing. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Really looking forward.
Yeah. So there's 8 teams today, 16 contestants. So we can probably have a quick check at their table to see what they are up to, right? So let's start with team number 1. So that's the we made a poll on Facebook over the last few days actually to know what you guys were thinking about who is going to win or not. And I think that team went straight to the top of the polls within the first 40 minutes of the post of that poll. So this is the team of 8-Pack and Der Bauer.
Der Bauer, yeah, that's the German UK coalition thing. Yeah, maybe it's also for 8-Pack's looks. I don't know. He's the muscular guy, but he's also like the top overclocker at this moment.
Yes.
So if Mr. 8-Pack or Ian Parry, as he's called, submits a score, it's straight. Yeah, usually it's like a world record.
Yeah. So that's the team 1 on our table here, and they also actually have the table number 1, so it's easy to remember. I have a little map here because we are actually facing the guys backwards, so it's really hard to say oh, that's the guy on the left, on the right, because everything is
just
reversed.
behind
and
me, I think. The edge. Yeah, that's them.
Right. So those are the first guys. So right now they're setting up. If you look at the first camera, for example, you see Roman that is doing some moddings on the card.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what you're supposed to do when you're setting up, right?
Yeah. And in fact, that's one of Roman's specialities, in fact.
Yeah. So his specialty is doing VMods.
The VMods, he's like insane. Yeah. I think everybody which is like acquainted with HWBot saw the Encore mod he also did for the X99 platform. It was like, okay, it's insane that you think of this and that you really can establish it. And also the fun thing with Roman is he also wants to share it with the community. You have people that just discover a mod and just say, okay, this is my secret, and I'll just keep it to my benefit. But Roman is like, okay, I don't care. He just posts something on HWBot in the forum or even on the front page, and it gets exposed. And that's also a thing that's boosting our community forward now. People are sharing more and more and more. And also, of course, after the events, people will finally release, okay, we did this and maybe that driver setting, and okay, that's interesting, and you can check it out yourself. Yeah,
sharing knowledge and learning.
Yeah, that's the only way forward, in fact.
Yeah. So Roman has a background in electrical engineering. Then, I would not be capable of taking just a graphics card and just figuring out just by the looks of it, or even if he actually gave me the electrical circuit, like the blueprints pretty much of the card, I would not be able to just looking at it, figure out, oh, I need to rewire this, connect that, and
I have a similar issue as you, but I can blame my eyes because my eyes are really not that good anymore. I need like magnifying
you need like
glasses,
a magnifying glass to solder on the card.
Yeah, and then as well, I leave it rather to the pros, especially if you like dealing with graphics cards of these prices.
Yes. Yeah, you would not want to solder
one
something.
small mistake and your 500 or 600 euros is gone. And RMA, in fact, is not like possible because they will probably detect first spot on that something has been removed or changed.
I think it would be very obvious.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit like tweaking an expensive car, right? You would buy a racing car,
Yeah,
for example, where you would go to a professional to make it.
We
get
have
it
done
tweaked, right?
together with Massman some overclock events in the Benelux and also at game fairs and stuff like that. And indeed, people ask, what's the use? Why do you do it? And I usually compare it indeed like just boosting your little Honda Camino, your scooter, so you can go to work or to school faster. It's just like an experience that you can really push it to the edge. And okay, you can play Crysis on it, you can play Far Cry 4 on it, but of course, if you're doing the liquid nitrogen stuff, nah, that ain't working. But you can overclock with water cooling. Even people use a single phase for daily use.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways, and
Yeah.
not all of them are extremely complicated.
No.
right.
Intel, in fact, has made it like the last years
Super
pretty
simple,
easy.
right?
Yeah.
Well, especially even motherboard vendors having like just basically a simple button where you just push it and it
indeed.
overclocks, or like very simple BIOS features, or even Windows-based software. You don't even need to go to the BIOS anymore most of the time.
Yeah, some people don't even know what the BIOS is, even though
You don't
they
need to know, right?
No, they don't need to know.
Okay, so let's move to the second team. So that's another team with another German. Actually, it's the I will call it. We should call it the Panzer team.
Yeah,
right?
we discussed it last night. We call them the German Panzer team. Yeah.
Yeah. So those guys, they are I think at the top of their form in terms of confidence.
Yeah, they are also, I think, only one of the few people that really posted scores or leaked scores, let's call them like that, on HWBot. So already they bought themselves like a Strix card, and okay, they had the motherboard and a good CPU. They already did a lot of pre-tests, especially for this event, and they already showed their potential, setting new world records. So they know how the mods should be done. But of course, today they have another card. That card can be a little bit different.
You don't have the piece of modding at home.
You can take 10 graphics cards, and it might be that each graphics card ends up at another megahertz final.
And you actually only have 1 hour to mod your card, pretty much.
So you have to make a choice directly. That's why I think it's gone really quiet in the back.
Yeah.
So everybody is really focused, concentrating, just getting the mods done, properly done, insulate the cards, probably prepare the two cards already. If one is not that good, that they can directly swap. We'll ask later on if we can go downstairs during a break, just have a quick chat with
the guys.
going on.
So then let's move to the team number 3. So those guys, it's actually a very interesting team, because we have here Wizity from France, and we have TerraRaptor, which is from Kazakhstan, if I'm correct. So this is a very particular team. If we look at the fact that Wizity is in the top overclockers from France, TerraRaptor is in the top overclockers of his country, and both have a very different, I would say, benching style, right?
Yeah, indeed. It's Wizity is like renowned, in fact, for his efficiency and its speciality and preparation, and it's also an issue for, I think, for certain overclockers, that you don't have like the financial background and to just buy like X99, 5960X. So some people just overclock with, let's say, call it legacy hardware, older hardware, and
even a bit cheaper stuff, right?
Cheaper stuff, but
not everyone can afford
the same,
2K per month, right?
The fun is the same. So it all depends, and that's also why we posed one of the questions: how did you prepare? And we get a lot of replies from, okay, I don't have X99 yet. So it might be quite interesting to see how certain teams bench. Okay, they have the backup of the other teammate, which might have experience or not. But we have one team that have no clue how X99 performs under liquid nitrogen.
Well, yeah, if you could not get a board before, then
it's
practice. It's still a very, very new platform.
Indeed. So and I think BIOSes are getting there. Everything is evolving in the right direction, but we're seeing that new BIOSes get released, and you, at a certain moment, you can just clock 100 megahertz higher.
Yeah. So we have a team.
Settings.
Yeah. So we have a team with someone that knows about the platform and someone that is actually focusing on getting the best out of everything he can get.
And there's always the language barrier. That's one thing.
But TerraRaptor speak pretty alright English, so it should be fine, I suppose.
Yeah, but you're talking technical stuff.
Yeah, that's true,
and also, like you said, some guys have like different benching styles. Some just pour the LN2, otherwise do like very small drops of LN2. So it's something you're going for big prize money here, big
Yes.
hardware. You want to do your best, and you want to show the overclocking community, okay, this is where I'm at now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here if I'm like a noob.
Yeah,
That's
for
one
sure,
thing.
yeah.
But you also want to prove, and you have a certain status reached, and you at least want to stay there or go above.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to beat 8-pack and their power today. That's
Yeah, for
everybody's
sure.
motivation.
It's you know, it's always like this, right? You need to have a target or like a ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Now you just go for it. You're
Yeah,
like,
everybody wants to beat their icons.
Yeah,
It's
and
logic.
as soon as you qualified in the same competition,
Yeah.
you're that close, right?
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
they-
like literally, those guys are just sitting behind.
Yeah.
That's how close
Maybe they could just
are.
read the BIOS settings and just type them over.
They were actually with Wizardy. We were talking yesterday during we did some interviews. We're gonna play a bit later, but Wizardy was saying, "Oh, that's actually perfect because I can just have a look sometimes, you know, see how high they are at, or like what are the settings and things like that." So it's actually it might be an advantage for this team to be sitting right
Yeah.
behind them.
Indeed, indeed.
So moving on to team number 4. So this is also another interesting team. So here we have Alex at row.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how we pronounce his.
It's Alex at row, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Alex
one
at
of the-
row. And Perica Barry. So where are those guys from?
Yeah, so Peruka Bari, so Dusan, he's from Montenegro, and he has been quite active, experienced in this. I think it's also his 3rd time he did AOOC.
Yep.
And in fact, Alex Rowe from Romania, we have seen him a lot on like Extreme Systems forum, also on HW Bot forum, and he's like, compared maybe with Tapaka, the memory tweaker.
Yes.
He's like pinning a lot of memory, but he didn't post like scores with the CPU or so. It only does like 5
Just
gigahertz
keep for himself,
super Pi.
or-
No, he doesn't keep it for himself, but he's not like doing liquid nitrogen or something.
Okay,
So
I
he's
see,
doing
yeah.
like maybe water cooling and just cooling down the CPU and just trying to tweak, look for better efficiency in 32M. I think that's his speciality, and he also said that's maybe one of the pity things for him.
No Super Pi.
There's like no super Pi tweak or something going on. So yeah, but the fun thing about Alex Rowe, in fact, is that it was his first time on LN2, and he set straight like a top spot on XTU, so which was like very memory dependent. So he used his best memory kit. He straight put it under liquid nitrogen, which he had never done before,
Yeah.
and it all worked out for the guy. So he is here. So he's very happy to be here, and it's not like he's unexperienced, but it probably is his first live event or live competition. He told me that he already did like some game shows and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but
Like demonstrations.
demonstration stuff. So that's relaxed, that's chill. But of course, here you want to perform and you want to show, look, man, I'm here. I'm the
Yeah.
new kid in town.
I got
and
my place here.
yeah,
so,
somebody
you
of the
know.
old guys has to move out of the top 10. I'm moving in. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm really looking forward to see how they match up those
Yeah.
two. Because
Well, especially Perica, it's not his first competition. Right?
no, he has been everywhere. He has done MSI, MOA, a few AOCs. We see he won the Kingston Hot European qualifier. So yeah, he's doing quite well, and he also manages to find those sweet CPUs, those 6.5-ish Haswell CPUs. I don't know where those guys get them from, but he manages to get them, and of course they're like a requirement to set good scores, especially if you have to do like online qualifying and stuff like that. You have to have the good hardware as well.
Yeah. So if we talk about, like we were mentioning for Wizardy and Terroraptor, the experience on the platform, how is the experience for those guys on X99, for example, or do you know if they got a GTX 980 before the start of the competition at home before?
Yeah.
If they, like, you
Yeah,
know?
so I'm just reading the PDF I made, and for Perica Bari, he said, okay, he had the card at home,
Yep.
and he just tested it quickly, just how it reacts, and he also told me that ASUS pumped up quite a new sort of BIOS which improved memory overclocking and stuff like that, and he said, okay, I have a good idea, but he hasn't played again like many of the guys here in the back, not much with X99.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's also like the ASUS platform is not completely different from what Gigabyte or MSI offers, but yeah, there's still some minor settings, and if you don't know them by heart or you didn't do your research, yeah, it could be that that they might forget a vital setting which gives them like the ultimate score. So we have to just see, and that's also one of the hardest things during a live event. If you haven't touched the hardware,
Yep.
you're doing like in the beginning like a debugging. Why is
You're
this thing not
figuring out
booking?
what's
Hey,
going on,
why
right.
does this RAM divider work, or what is going on?
Yeah.
So
Maybe some new BIOS features even.
yeah, even that, or something which is called on Gigabyte like this, and on ASUS it's called like something completely different.
Yeah.
And you're saying, oh, I'm going leaving on auto because I don't know what it is.
But that's one of the cool things, right? Also, if you have a motherboard that has a very nicely furnished, I would say, BIOS with like descriptions of what the features are about, what is it actually doing. Like some motherboard vendors, especially ASUS, is really good at this. If you're
This is also
yeah.
why ASUS has of ASUS has remained one of my favorite brands, because their BIOS is like so easy to work in, and even if you leave like a lot of things just on auto,
Yes, yes.
it works. Okay, to just get the final megahertz, you might have to change some minor settings, some SKUs and stuff like that in the past, but indeed, and the other brands are catching up, I have to say. I have to admit it. They're doing like a hell of a job to get memory compatibility going, which was like one of the ASUS things. You just pop in any memory and it works. And on the other boards, it's like yes or no. Even sometimes the SPD doesn't work with the XMP file. So really weird. But okay, everything is evolving in the right direction. And I also think like the feedback from the overclock community is helping the BIOS engineers a lot to improve their hardware.
Yeah.
And that's also one of the
That's
things.
a major thing about those.
Yeah,
events,
that they're so deep into it, and they just check out everything and looking for efficiency. Why is this board more efficient than another one? And usually it's some stupid sub timing or something which is way off.
Yep,
And they can give the feedback, and the BIOS engineers just
Fix
compile a
it,
new
yeah.
BIOS, and okay, it's on top of or just on par with all the other boards.
Yeah.
So
All right, so let's move to the next team. So that would be team number 5. So those guys are from Greece, both of them.
Yeah.
And we saw actually 5 Kilo GR already at last year's AOOC. I'm not too sure, but I don't think in the previous editions. But last year for sure he was there.
he was here. Yeah.
I even remember he had a fan club of Greek supporters that made the trip to the event.
Really?
They were cheering for
Okay.
them, so it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then we have also Mortis Boys. So
Yeah.
what can we say about those guys besides the fact that they have a huge fan club? So
They have a huge fan club, and they're like all inspired by the overclocking Lord Hypro 5. So they had like one of the best overclockers I think in the world in their country, and they learned a lot from him. And it's always with the Greek guys, you always have to watch out.
yeah,
They're always like coming from the corner, and bam, they set some scores, and
Out of
it's like
nowhere.
Stavros said during the interview. Maybe somebody already saw it, and he said, "Okay, we're just here to win the 5K.
yeah,
That's
what he
our
said,
goal.
yeah.
That's
We just
our
come here, we
aim."
just
And
do it, and we go home.
they're prepared. They had like a lot of CPUs to test on, and just to see again, the
Yeah.
same as with Parika Bari, who tested the Strix card, just get an idea, a feel how the platform responds to cold.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had time to play with the same hardware. I don't know if they had the Corsair memory, but if you already know how the board and the CPU reacts to cold, and what you can do if you have a good score so it doesn't freeze and stuff like that,
Mhm.
I think they have the knowledge.
Yeah,
Stavros Fire Killer GR is really young, but he has like,
he's 20 years old, right?
yeah, he's only 20 years old, and he has like tons of experience already. And
I think it's many years already. I'm seeing him around the scene. Like
Yeah.
I even remember that for him, even getting to some competitions back then was not that easy because he was minor.
Yeah.
And yeah, he needed like authorization from his parents pretty much to come over to the events and be able to bench or
Yeah.
even do demonstrations where you have to your parents sign that yes you can go and it's
Yeah,
okay.
indeed,
He
indeed.
does LN2 and all that.
he also
stuff.
looks quite young as well, because
Yeah.
on his passport it says only 20 years of age.
Yeah, and if actually there's a few gamers watching the stream, you might actually have seen him already because this guy is actually working for the Fnatic gaming
Yeah,
team.
one of the bigger gaming teams. Yeah, I know if he's their manager or some. I don't know
I'm
what
not
he
too
exactly
sure
does.
the
but
position. It's something marketing, communication,
Yeah.
PR, community stuff. Yeah,
And
but
that's-
he's totally a perfect guy for the job. I think a lot
Yeah.
of humor. When he talks to you, always very serious, but it has this little kind of
Yeah,
humoristic spin.
There's
to it.
always something. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can always read in between the lines with Stavros, which is quite cool, in fact.
Mm.
But I think Team Greece might be like a surprise team. Everybody was betting their money on Team 1 and Team 2.
Yep.
Okay, you have the French guys, which are going for Wizardy, of course. Probably the Russian guys going for Team 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Greeks might be the ultimate surprise. It also would be fun for them because they won I think didn't they win the country cup? I have to I have to lie about that. Maybe we have to ask
Greek
Masman
guys
again.
last year, it might be possible that they were definitely in the top 3.
Yeah, they're always
Well,
there.
actually, every year they're
Always
in the
there.
top 3.
Greece always comes on stage somewhere somehow.
I think last year Australia won actually.
Yeah,
the country
indeed.
cup.
Sorry, Dino. My humble apologies.
Dino, are you awake? All right, let's go to the next team, team number 6, and those guys are pure Russians spirit team. So we've seen them as well in the previous competitions.
Yeah.
Those guys pretty much always bench together. They're a very good friend with Vlad, which is
I think they're all in the same team as well.
Yeah.
OC Lab, RU,
that's it. Yep.
and they're these guys have the goods, the gear, the experience, technology, and they're very close to ASUS. So I think they did already some good pre-testing.
Yeah.
They didn't show. They already showed some scores as well at HW Bot.
Yeah.
But it's always with those scores are these the final scores or are these just the backup of the backup?
That's the thing, right?
That's the thing,
the whole
yeah.
part in overclocking. It's not just like that's where it's quite different actually from gaming, where you just compete and you do your result and you're ranked and you win. In overclocking, there's always this kind of I would say not a lag, but it's a bit asynchronous in the way that we submit the score and the competition runs for that many hours.
Indeed.
But you're not forced to submit your score as soon as the benchmark finishes.
I think in this case it is.
In this case it is, right?
In this
But when
case
they
it
bench
is.
at home,
At
it is
home,
not.
yeah, you can
So
do
you
the
never
backup
know.
of the backup, huh?
That's it. So those guys have definitely experience on X99.
Oh yeah,
They have definitely experience on 980.
stretch card, yeah.
So this is a team to watch because when you have this experience, you have the knowledge of the terrain here. Like those guys are not going to be cold if they go out to have a.
No,
you know, a bit
we're
of
all turning sick.
It's not like
probably.
us, like completely frozen or anything.
They
like
walk
this.
out in the t-shirt.
So yeah, we have to watch out on team number 6. I think for now that's pretty much all we can say about them.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next team, team number 7. So those guys, we have Extreme Addict from Poland.
Yeah, also
and,
like a
actually, it's a very, very atypical team, I would say, if I may say this.
Yeah, if you just look at the two characters, you have Giorgio Primo is like also at a certain age, but he's like more real. And you have Michael Vobocil, I hope I pronounced it correct, Mr. Extreme Addict, and he's like the non-stop talking guy, always like hyperactive and likes beer a lot. And yeah, it's a quite funny combination, in fact, Team 7.
Yeah.
But yeah, Extreme Addict is like, he's like the 8-pack of Poland. If he posts something, it's top-notch stuff.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't,
huge,
it's almost untouchable. So you have to be ready to beat his scores. And Michael has performed admirably as well in many live competitions.
Yes.
Besides MOA.
Well, MOA this year hasn't been that good for him, I would say. But if you look at for example, the previous season of last year, I mean, last year was all win for him, right?
Yeah,
He actually won the AOC last year.
Yeah,
if
indeed.
I'm correct. So this guy is definitely up for the challenge of taking AOC upside down and putting everything in the pocket and $5,000 US go home.
The only issue for him is now he's drinking water.
Well, you know, I mean, like we are actually here in the Cyber Stadium, and there's, it's a place for gaming. It's a place for people to, minors come here as well. So there's no alcohol allowed. And actually, I find this really good.
Yeah, indeed. Like, it's also, I think, a better exposure for the sport itself.
Well, and we don't want to do a live stream with like a keg of beer passing back. It's not really a good thing. So I'd rather keep it this way. What can we say about Giorgio in terms of season? He hasn't been that much active actually.
No, I think most of us remember Giorgio Primo, in fact, as one of the head judges of MOA all the time.
That's right.
Because
he used to be.
He's really close with MSI, so probably testing or pre-testing a lot of new motherboards and before they hit the retail shelves and stuff like that. But indeed, he said like in 2014 I did like almost nothing.
Yes, that's true. We haven't seen him much. Not even Country Cup, I think, or not anything major.
Because if we see at his previous attended live OC events, he was here last year at AOC, and then the entire shabam of MOAs
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
in front, and that's where he was always at, participating
Yeah.
or judging. And he says, yeah, he's a sales manager in wine, so if you ever want a good bottle of wine, that's the guy
yeah.
to call.
But
course.
which keeps him really busy.
Yeah,
and overclocking
indeed.
takes a lot of time, right? So
Yeah.
it's not easy to actually make all those international competitions.
Yeah.
Be able to take days off to come there. I mean, like I don't. There's only a handful of overclocking professionals that actually have a payroll based on just.
Yeah, yeah,
overclocking,
I
right?
don't think
Everyone else here is not amateur, like a very elite guy or professional overclocker, but they are not getting paid on a daily
no,
basis.
I think
right?
maybe the only two are Team One, which work for the Case King group,
Yeah.
and they're like assembling high-end setups. And I don't know if they're paid like to do the overclocking, but I think the access to the hardware is rather unlimited. So
Yeah.
if they want to post scores and they say, okay, I've found a good CPU, I think Case King will grant them the permission to work on or with the gear. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's and I just got like on Thursday evening, Giorgio was finally testing the 980 Strix card.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he posted straight like an almost 2000 megahertz score on
Well,
GPU.
okay.
So it's
So
was going.
he hasn't
he
lost
has
the
some
practice, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean-
I think the techniques remain the same. It's just that you
Yes.
have to know which modifications you have to be done, and like the community is evolving, and everybody's sharing stuff, and even like some manufacturers are just mailing guides on, okay, this is the thing that you have to do.
Yeah.
This is a special bias that you can use. So
Yeah, there's regular update on
Yeah,
forum
it's
threads.
not-
Those are all the new biases, special
yeah,
for
it
OC
still
stuff.
requires some V-modding skills and stuff like that.
Oh,
But
for sure, yeah.
it's not like you have to change the entire card, or especially in this case, e-power the card or something like that. You can
Yes.
do basic modifications, and apparently the thing runs screamingly fast.
Wow. So also a team to watch then, eh?
Yeah, you never know, because Extreme Addict has like tons of experience, especially with live events.
Yeah.
Giorgio as well, but okay, he's like more the chill guy, and you have Michael.
Yeah, Michael is very active.
Very
like you
active,
say,
yeah.
All right. Moving up to our last team, team number 8. So team number 8 is also another interesting team in the same way that team number 3 of Wizardry Interrupter was interesting, right? Actually, it's pretty much the symmetry, right? You have,
Yeah.
again, a French guy and again a Kazakh guy.
Yeah. In fact, yeah, Team 8, and I don't know if anybody followed the qualifiers, but Team 8 in fact is comprised of the people who participated in the Pentium stage. So one of the fun things in this competition, so ASUS said, okay, we have to use Devil's Canyon CPUs for the online qualifier, or
Yeah.
we will make a team out of 2 participants which use the Pentium. And I think they're like the only 2 guys who participated with this, what does it cost, €40 CPU,
Yeah.
something like that. And they made it to the grand final now. With
They made it,
so such
it's actually
simple.
a very good proof, you know, because I saw on the chat before, yeah, overclocking is money. It's true, it is money. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, what hobby, if you take it super seriously, doesn't cost you money?
Yeah.
But overclocking is one of those hobbies that do cost a lot of money. I agree totally with that. But those guys show that with some a bit cheaper hardware and
Yeah.
with rules of a competition that actually allow that kind of hardware to have a seat, right?
Yeah.
This is exactly the
Indeed.
perfect way to get in without ruining yourself. to
Yeah, and
qualify.
that's also one of the things that HW bot, not me, but we want to change is like for the online qualifiers that you don't need to buy or get out and buy the high-end hardware.
Well, which is going to be given to you when you go home from the competition
Yeah.
anyway, right?
Yeah, indeed. It's a bit silly that you have to invest like in a €1,000 CPU, €500 motherboard, stuff like that. You go home with the same prices. Maybe
Yeah.
you kill the motherboard for the online qualifiers. You have like a replacement, but it would have been nicer like MSI did with MOA. So just use like a basic entry-level card,
Mm-hmm.
mod the hell out of it, and then get a ticket to go to Taipei, or in this case to Moscow.
Yeah.
And that's why I found the Pentium stage really interesting. And the guys
Yeah.
put down some good scores, but we have seen that the Gigabyte did also like a Pentium event,
Yep.
an online event, and then
I really like those.
whoa,
kinds
we
of
saw some
events.
amazing scores. So we're like
Yeah,
people just
everyone was surprised by what actually those Pentiums
Yeah.
are capable, or what actually people are capable of doing with it, right?
indeed.
So yeah, so those are those very cheap, like cheaper processors that
Yeah.
you can have really good fun overclocking. What if they die, which might happen? You know, it's not that much.
Not
of a
that
big
much
deal.
money, yeah.
It's not like you just killed like one of those CPUs for your X99 platform, and then you're like, oh well, you can just cry with your $1,000 US.
I would
that
cry
I'm
an
done, right?
entire week if I killed mine.
But yeah, so John White from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, also a guy that doesn't bench too much with high-end hardware.
Yeah.
It's a bit the same as his fellow countryman, Raptor. That's, yeah, he benched 780 GTX 780, not 780 Ti, I think. And he said, I hope that the Strix card, the 980, is like similar in handling with liquid nitrogen and stuff like that. He said, because I have absolutely no experience on X99 nor on 980 cards. So indeed, he's exploring the hardware today.
Yeah.
And I hope these guys will have, first of all, fun. Maybe they can do like a good score as well, because we're seeing that I checked some of their scores, and the scores they did are always top rank, even with the legacy hardware. They still manage to tweak the efficiency, which is also very vital in these kind of competitions. If you can't get the megahertz, you have to find a little bit extra performance elsewhere, and that's in tweaking the operating system, driver settings, LOD, stuff
And
like
that's
that.
where actually the skill factor come really in, right? The experience the guys got by doing it for so many times, for rebooting, trying again, rebooting, trying again. You know, it's like it's even worse than I think, you know, when you play basketball or something like that, where you know you have to train to aim right. Here it's not your aiming that is the training, right? It's just the fact of doing it again,
running, rerunning, adjusting
change
something.
the position on the field to get it right. Like so you really have to control everything of what's going on.
Yeah, indeed.
And if something goes wrong, that's where on the live competition you make the difference. If you can resolve it fast, you're one of those guys.
You have to be aware what maybe the postcode on a motherboard means or something like that. So if
even just blue screen codes, right? What does a blue screen mean? Like every blue screen has a meaning. It just doesn't come out of nowhere. It's just Microsoft that wants to annoy you, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason for the blue screen, and you need to figure it out.
You need to figure it out. What was your last setting you changed? And that's also why we usually say, if we like introduce people to overclocking, don't change too many settings at once.
Yeah.
Go step by step. Change one, and go in
if
small
not,
steps.
you might not know if which one of both you changed actually affecting the.
Yeah, I met a Dutch guy, and his opinion was like, I just max out the settings. So voltages, he just pulled everything to the max, and then he downclocked from there on.
Okay.
So he just put maximum voltage for the CPU. Yeah, I said, but
that cost you time and probably cost you equipment.
It will cost you money because some of his boards or CPUs died, and he didn't know why. And I said, yeah, we have like a base, and you build up from there. It's not like you build a high tower and then start designing. Okay, where are my structural issues here? No, you have to go.
Oh, I forgot the foundations.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you know what? Yesterday we met the guys and we shot some video with them, and so we did that video, which is basically for you to meet the overclockers. There's not all of them in the video because it would have been way too long, and some of the guys were actually so tired they just went to bed before we actually could talk to them.
Yeah, and we wanted to go to bed as well.
Yeah. so yeah, well, the video is about 5 minutes long, so that's our introduction and preparation video. So in that video, we asked the guys to tell us a bit who they are, basically where they come from, and for some of them even tell us a bit more about how long they're overclocking, you know, and things like that. And then we also asked them how did they prepare to the competition. So what I'm proposing to you guys is to actually have a look at that video, and we'll back right after that to just talk a little bit more about the previous AOCs, previous competitions, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. See you soon.
I'm Andy from German team Bench Pros, and overclocking is my main hobby. And I do it around 6 years. So I started at the beginning of 2008, and now I'm here.
I'm Daniel. I come from Germany. My nickname is Stankop, and I'm benching on cold like almost 2 years now.
Myros, I come from Klausy. I'm actually the team captain, so from France.
Hi, I'm Wizalti. From France, and I'm on Clancy team. And today or tomorrow, I will bench with Raptor from Kazakhstan, and we will try to do our best to be first for sure.
My name is Mortsboy. it's Kostas. My teammate is Stavros. We qualified for the finals of AOOC, and we'll try to do our best in the finals.
My name is Farik Georgiar. My teammate's Morris Boy. We are here to kick some asses and take the $5,000 back to our country. Yes.
Yeah, my team's 8-Pack and Debar. ASUS AOOC and Case King Overclocking Gurus.
My name is Roman, nickname is Bauer. I'm in Team 1 together with 8-Pack from the UK. Yeah, we're both working at Case King, that's why we tried to be in the same team. It's worked out.
Hello guys, my name is Peter and I work for HWbot.org. I live in Taipei right now and I flew in to Moscow, Russia for the AOC 2014.
Of course, we did the qualification with Dankop, and so to qualify for this event. And after that, we met last weekend and prepared the competition setup, and yeah, tried to get the best scores with CPU and 980 graphic card, and so do the mods and yeah, try to learn the board and the graphic card, and yeah, that's the preparation. So only one session, and we achieved some really nice results, and hopefully we are good prepared.
Yeah, I prepared with my teammate last weekend, and we benched from Friday till Sunday, and we had almost all the hardware we get here except the PSU and the SSD.
Not a lot, because I don't have any hardware from the competition, and not a lot of time, because I've got a lot of work with my thesis, so not really prepared.
To be honest, we don't have made training because I work as an engineer, and when I'm not at work, I'm take care of my son, so I don't have time this day to make training for this contest. So we will try to make the maximum with the processor and graphic card, and we will see which score we can have.
We tried as many. We do it as many sessions as we can. We tried some cards for the 3Ds, and I got a very good card and got some nice 3D scores. And we have some Rampads 5 to test the new CPUs, but they weren't good. But I think that I'm very familiar with the motherboard to compete with the others.
No preparation. No need. No, seriously now. We tested some CPUs already in order to understand the strange behavior of the processors themselves. So that's it.
Okay. Actually, we haven't done that much preparation, in all honesty, not specifically for the competition. Since 980's, they've been used in the competition, and since it's come out, I've done quite a lot of benching with 980 in general, but not just with the Strix card. I've just been trying to figure out what temperatures the GPU likes, what voltage it likes, what mods, if any, what driver tweaks, if any, and then try and bring it all together tomorrow. So just like general rules, what voltage, what temperature in general, and then obviously tomorrow we'll test each individual card, putting the general rules into practice first, and then trying some new things, see if we can get more out of the card.
Well, particularly I didn't really prepare when it comes to the 3D, but I did a lot of testing for the X99 platform. I played a lot with a 5960X CPU on LN2. I have at home, I already broke some records with that CPU on HWbot as well, so yeah, I think I'm quite well prepared when it comes to the 2D clocking.
right, so we are back here at the AOC 2014 Europe Finals, and I'm still here with Albrecht, my dear friend Albrecht, and we just listened to the overclockers talking about how they prepared for this competition.
Yeah.
So when we talk about preparation, we mean at home before coming here, working out either together with their teammates, whom they have been combined to, right?
Yeah.
Or by themselves figuring out how to prepare for it.
Yeah, maybe also one interesting thing for the viewers is how the teams were made up. In fact,
Yeah,
so they
let's
took
start
like
from that on. Yeah.
Yeah, they just going to quickly grab the qualifiers that I made. So we saw that 8-pack was the best one, then Dankop, Wizardy, Alex Rowe, Mortis Boy, Smoke, Extreme Addict, and so on. And so what did ASUS do? They allowed the first 7 people to pick their own teammate. So from position 8 down.
Yeah.
So in fact, 8-pack chose Der Bauer, Dankop chose his friend Bench Bros.
Well, colleague actually even, right?
Yeah, even
because they're in the same company.
Indeed. That's indeed. I forgot to mention that. And so indeed, some teams are made of same country.
Yeah.
Other people, of course, didn't have the choice.
Yeah,
so they had to pick somebody
pure
maybe that they already met. Maybe they checked out their scores at HW Buff. And okay, this guy's is really looking potent. So maybe he will be a good match for me. But it's always like I told before, language barrier. You have no idea if he has LN2 experience. Yes or no. You can check his results, but
yeah,
it's always a
hard
risk.
to tell, right?
Yeah, and of course,
especially if you never met the guy.
Never met the guy. Plus, in fact, like you say, preparation. Dankop and Bench Bros, they came together. I don't know in I think at Daniel's house, so at Dankop's place. They provided the hardware. They bought the hardware themselves.
Yeah.
So the hardware was not provided by ASUS before the event, like on some events that they already sent the GPUs a few weeks before, so you can properly test it, do the modifications. So they bought a retail Strix card, they had a CPU, they had a board, and they started to bench during an entire weekend.
Yeah.
Just perfect, in fact, for preparation for an event like this. Then our team won, in fact, they still deny the fact that they benched together, but they were in Germany. I don't know what 8-pack was doing in Germany.
After it's called strategy, right?
Yeah.
You actually don't want to tell
thing.
everyone you actually prepared.
Yeah,
right?
don't play with, I don't know how to say it in English, but don't throw your cards directly on the table.
Yeah.
So just pretend maybe that you are totally unaware of what is going on.
Oh yeah. That it's a bit like poker face, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're there, you arrive here, for example, and us a bit media, we try to poke a bit around and see.
Yeah, yesterday also during my, let's say,
homework.
Because some people didn't fill in the survey. I just tried to push for a little more info, and they said, there are no tweaks, man. It's just raw
sure,
cogs.
there are no tweaks.
I'm not a good overclocker, but I know that there are some tweaks for several benchmarks. And if one of the world ranked players says there are no tweaks, it's okay.
So what, you just boot
say
it up and
just say no. I don't want to share it. It's something completely different, of course.
Yeah, there's this secrecy, especially when you approach the actual deadline of the live. There's no one talking anymore.
No,
it's exactly what happens actually if you look at online qualifiers, like we saw in this year, for example. Well, people just talk and talk and talk. Qualifier are just starting, and there's still 1 month to go to qualify.
Everybody is friends.
And then 1 week before, there's nothing anymore. There's no one posting
silent.
in forums anymore. Or if there's some questions or discussions, all trivial stuff. It's like, what is going to be the hotel like, or stuff like this.
Or just say, I already killed all my hardware. I'm unable to participate anymore. Have fun, guys. I will see you probably next year.
Yeah.
And then 5 seconds before everything ends, you see massive scores pumping.
Yes,
the rankings,
out of nowhere,
Where did these came from? He had no more hardware, but it's a bit the game, of course. Some people are I know that PJ Massman always said, okay, if I have a good score and it's my best score, I'll publish it. I won't do the backup thing.
Yeah.
I just post straight my best score, and if people can beat that, good for them. If they can't, good for me.
Yeah.
But it's always like that. But of course, with these things, an online qualifier, if you directly post your best score, people have a target. They know if I can't reach that score.
Well, especially if you admit it's your best score, even. It's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. I just hit just a bit above, and that's it.
Yeah.
Especially if the whole target is to just be on top of you, and that's it. Then
Indeed.
it's like,
Indeed. So there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And of course, people are they want to win. They're like nice prices, hardware, cash. So it's not only about the hardware and the cash, but also, like we said, status. You're there. You're number one. You want to stay there. And
Yeah.
it's competitive spirit, in fact.
Yeah,
Let's sum
that's
it up like that.
Okay, so at home, for example, when the guy prepare, like you say, they buy the hardware themselves, or they get a sample to review or to test for the companies. But most of the time, they do buy the hardware, because if it's not provided by the competition organizers, it's not really a good idea for manufacturers to send hardware to test to one overclocker and not send it to everybody else.
Yeah,
right?
they should be like equal.
So here, the Strix card, for example, no one got it before.
No one got it before.
The only
no.
guys that have it, it's because they just bought it themselves.
They bought it, or they were maybe media.
Yeah.
But the usual thing with media samples is
You cannot really overclock this stuff, right?
yeah, if you already like remove the cooler for picture taking, some companies already start to complain that you remove the little protective sticker or the warranty. You're voiding their warranty. In fact, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
your media, you just want to expose the entire PCB and just have a nice pictures of the PWM area or VRM area, whatever it is. But yeah, but usually if we have media samples, I can just talk for myself and the Benelux. There are like only 2 or 3 samples for the entire region. You have to pass like 20 review
you have to share,
sites.
and you should not kill
Yeah,
it,
and
right?
if I get it first, I put it on LM2, I kill it. It's like, I'm stabbing my other colleagues in the back, and that's not the idea. In fact.
And it's not just that. Also, well, for overclocking, if you live in a region that is a bit more humid, and then you use Vaseline for insulation or liquid tape, well, if it's a review card where someone else is supposed to make pictures after that, well, no one wants a greasy card back into the box. It would not be a really nice thing to do. So.
Yeah, and then also it's just if you Vaseline it or liquid tape or even eraser gum and you remove some stickers, so the next guy he will get like a card and then with half of the sticker torn off or something like that, and it's not it's not the way to go for media samples. In fact,
sure.
Of course, if companies like MSI always does it with MOA, send the hardware before giving the people the time, that's something different. But ASUS didn't want to do that approach. Everybody has to discover the card here, or they invested via their own money and bought the hardware themselves and checked it out. And that was something that Team German Panzers, or how do we call them, that they did. They shared the cost, so they split it in 2, and they had like a weekend of fun.
Yep.
Good benching, very good scores, world records.
Yeah.
But indeed, like we said before, are those their final scores?
It's not the card they're using today anyway.
No, that's also a difference.
So it doesn't mean much. I mean, like, it means, yes, they might have a good experience on the card, but you've been competing in competition, for example, before, right?
Yeah.
So when you prepare for a competition and that you get the hardware to prepare, what is kind of your protocol of what are you looking for in terms of performance or in terms of tweaks? Do you have like a procedure of things you want to check? Or
Yeah, and it's each overclocker is own. In fact, we've seen a lot of scores. Sorry for the mic tap. We've seen a lot of scores for people that had like extremely high clocks, but the efficiency was just not there.
Yeah.
And that's only something that you discover. You have to have a proper operating system installation. The right tweaks have to be done.
Yep.
Depending on the hardware, it also depends on the benchmark, which driver is the most suitable.
Yeah.
With some drivers you get like a boost in some of the stages on the GTs. With other drivers, performance is better in that thing, and you have to find like a good balance. Of course, in events like these, if they say we're working with that driver, that operating system, you don't have like that much room to maneuver.
Yes.
So you have to just, and also I don't think they allow like third-party software.
No,
so it's only
you get a list of stuff. It's already
that you
on
can
your
use,
SSD,
and it's on the SSD, and you can't like plug in another USB stick unless the USB stick for the score verification, and that's all you can do. So
that's one thing, right? They prepare, so before the competition, when the organizer like ASUS announces the rules, usually they also announce the driver versions you are going to have at the competition. So for example, like Dankop, the German guys that bought the card, probably actually use that driver version exactly. A system as close to what they
they
would have
even
today,
bought
right?
like the Corsair memory, and so they had like an identical system of the hardware they were getting. And we were like discussing about the Corsair memory yesterday, and that will be one of the the big things. If everybody can maximize the DDR4 as well, because if you haven't touched X99, DDR4 is also something new to take into account. How it overclocks, which timings give me like better performance. It's not that different from DDR3 in general, but there are a lot more timings, and you have to just find again a balance what works. And also, of course, they have 2 kits available. But remember, it's quad channel, and I already read some forum posts. Yeah, we're going to put the memory as well on LM2. That's risky, especially during a live.
It's one more thing, right, to control. It's
to control
one more stuff
and
to insulate.
And one more thing that can go wrong. In fact.
Yes.
Because,
the more you add up, the more it can go wrong.
Because usually all these kits can do like 3000 megahertz, C12, with a lot of volts, but it works normally. But yeah, we have seen kits that do less.
Yeah, you have to be sure that the risk is worth the extra points you're going
maybe
to
they're not only
get.
trying out the CPUs first, but also maybe plugging in stick per stick. They have like a profile that they still remember at home, and they just type in the settings and say, okay, this stick works flawless, this one doesn't, and maybe just take the best 4 sticks out of the 8 they got provided. So yeah, it's all, and it's like we said, some guys completely new to the platform say they have to debug. Why doesn't this work? We have seen it at previous events, at the Gigabyte event where you were as well, at EOC. That some sticks, even they were all the same. They were all the same motherboard, same BIOS
There's
version.
always
on one board with the bullshooter, the system did XMP.
Yeah,
while the other one just plugged it in,
really
XMP,
right?
and it booted. It's like what?
Yeah. So answering a few questions on the chat, there's more asking if there's any 24/7 setup overclocking competition, or if it's always LN2. Well, most of the overclocking competitions are always LN2, especially at this level. Like if you were talking about a high level overclocking with a high-end hardware, there's not really so much point for the manufacturers to do something that is not going to be reaching anywhere near the world records, or at least the global top score places on that specific hardware. So for those kind of that kind of competition, it's always LN2. There are a few competitions on air cooling, but those are not really exactly the same kind of competition. It's more like targeted towards amateur, or really like more beginners into the sport.
When I got my big introduction in the overclocking scene was at the Gigabyte tweaking event in Paris.
That was air cooling, right?
That was air cooling.
Yes.
So it was entirely up. What can you do? So you had to find a balance between the voltages, temperatures, what went, what worked, and also explore, because it was, I still have to lie, I think we were working on very limited CPUs as well. So B-clock, not B-clock limited, but multiplier limited, so not K-SKUs like we have now.
Yeah, and it makes it actually very interesting in a totally different way.
Yeah, because it was, completely different. Here you can cool down, you can pump volts, and there you have to find like a thermal balance between things, also for the graphics
Or you have
card.
to be creative, right? We saw, for example, at the Intel event at Computex this year, where it was, so there was one setup that was supposed to be LN2, and there was a setup, so the teams had 2 setups, one air, one LN2, and that air cooling setup, well, it was stated in the rules that you should not use extreme cooling, but nothing was stating that you could not use like put LN2 on your radiator or use a box
blow the cool
with
air
LN2
versus
in there, as long as it's like very, very low ambient cooling. Well, it's still ambient cooling.
The only thing that Intel specified in those rules is that it shouldn't be like poured directly onto it.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
That was
so
the
you could
thing,
put a
and
cup in front of your water cooler or anything like this, and just with a very strong fan, just have a flow of fresh air that is from the evaporation of the LN2.
And we saw like very innovative stuff, like
we saw
the team from Gigabyte that put like the foam box with the LN2
The ASUS team had a little like shoebox kind of thing. I mean, like you people get creative if you give them the right conditions.
They will always find like some sort of loophole,
the rules,
some entrance via the back door or something like this, and just bend the rules maybe in their advantage. But
well, it makes it really funny, and you know what? I don't really see, like, some people say, oh yeah, they're just trying to bend the rules to their advantage, but yes, they do, but it's not really a problem, It's like it's part of overclocking. That's what it is. We started overclocking by tweaking stuff or soldering things, so it's just part of the thing that you actually tweaking your air cooler, right?
Yeah.
It's not really a problem. Changing the fans, putting better fans, you know, adding more air
Yeah.
pressure through the fins.
But just to reply to the guy as well, well, if you look at, we're going to talk a bit later on that normally at the HW bot.
Mhm.
It's not like all scores at HW bot are done on liquid nitrogen. So we also have like a separate, let's say, competition for the water cooling guys, or let's call them the ambient guys. So they're not going sub-zero, and you can, if you have good cooling, high-end air cooler or even high-end water cooling, you can be creative as well. I have seen people that just put their reservoir or their water reservoir in the ground.
Yeah.
And they have like hoses coming from the outside to the inside of the place and hooked
Well,
up.
yeah.
So yeah, the water is like 2-3 degrees
Super
maybe.
cold, but it's
super
fine.
cold, and it doesn't like really.
You can add salt into your water if you
Yeah,
want, right? No
it's
problem.
So you can be innovative, and it's like that. Overclocking is fun. It's
Yeah.
a boost in performance that you get for free. You don't need to buy like maybe the high-end processor or just waste money
You
on
can get
high-end
something
memory.
very close to it.
Yeah,
with,
and then you can maybe achieve the same clocks. Usually these days you can easily surpass them clocks.
Yeah.
Of course you can bench the KSQ CPU further on, but out of the box you can get like higher performance for no extra money. Just make sure your cooling is decent, and you're not exaggerating in voltages and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I even remember, you know, it's a funny souvenir, but the first time I actually met Truthman, so they are my colleague at OCTV, right? He invited me actually to bench at his place in Montreal, and it was winter time. It was maybe around, I don't know, maybe -10, -15
Yeah, you
outside.
have
It was
a certain
actually an
advantage,
extremely
yeah,
cold winter,
yeah.
and we had opened the window. We were benching indoors, right? But we had opened the window, and we were like, well, because we reached the maximum of our air cooler, which we were like something around 89, 85, 90 degrees. So like the air cooler was boiling hot, and you could clearly see the CPU throttling, and you know, there's nothing you can do. You could not scale it or anything. It just starts to go wrong in every corner and whatever. So what we did a pipe, and we were blowing into the house like a -20, -15 degree, like Celsius air from the outside, blowing it straight onto the fan, and we did it like all of a sudden, so you could hear the metal of the actual cooler cracking down because it was shrinking because of the temperature shock. And it was just amazing. We had, yes, like he says, we had pizza boxes to make the pipe.
Like
you know, we got creative. We got a knife
yeah.
and like made something. We ended up benching with all gloves and jackets inside the house.
Ghetto modding. That's the.
But hey, well, of course, we didn't broke anything special that night. It was just really fun. But this is what actual OC is about.
But you're having fun, and that's also a thing that we see with some people. Like they invest like a lot of money to get the high-end hardware, and at a certain moment they see, it's so hard to get on top.
Yeah.
But of course, it's even harder to stay there.
But what is really the point is to just have fun. You
Just
don't
have fun.
necessarily
Don't take
to be
it
at
too
the top, right?
seriously, and just explore the hardware. And it's always fun if Intel or AMD or Nvidia or AMD launches new graphics cards. It's new hardware. We get new toys to play with, and that's what we're all looking forward to each time a new platform launches. So what's new here? Is there something new to discover? Is there something? And usually we get like
it is yours to figure out.
a performance boost, which always allows us to beat the scores on the previous platforms, which is the aim of the game for those participating at HWBot.
So transitioning on that previous platform, there has been previous AOC competitions, so very similar to this one.
Yeah.
I attended the one from last year, which was also in Moscow. It was at the yes, I was really lucky. Actually, it was just perfectly the right timing. That's how I could just make it. And it was less cold than right now. But it was at a gaming show, and it was really huge. There's this massive traffic. I don't know how many thousands of people passing by.
Yeah.
It was a very stressful competition as well, because the time was really limited. I think they had Super Pie, so there was some happy people around.
Too bad Alex Rowe wasn't there.
Right. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, that's it. Well, you always come at the wrong year. It happens, you know, sometimes. And so that was last year. Really cool competition, and I don't know, did you attend the one before? There was a AOC in 2011 as well, right?
2012 was the first one, and I think it was they were both in Kiev, I think.
Yep,
not
that's
here
correct,
in Moscow. Yeah. And they were like at the game convention or something like
As
that.
well, yeah.
Yeah, and indeed that's special. We have done with Hardware Pro Info team. We have done First Look this year.
Yeah.
And indeed, it's different because you get like people who are like totally not aware what is going on. They see you pouring the liquid nitrogen fumes coming in and stuff like that. And for them, it's like, yeah, it's kind of spectacular. But the first question that you get there is like, can it run Crysis? Can I use this setup as a 24/7 based system? And of course, yeah, we always have to say most of the time, no,
Well,
this is like...
You would not want to do that, probably.
It would be very costly, and you have to have like a friend who wants to pour all the time while you're gaming. And yeah, I think PJ did it together with Petri at DreamHack at the moment. They had like a multi-GPU setup, so fully LN2 cooled, and they played Crysis on it, just to show to the DreamHack fanatics or and the people that are attending the LAN party, it can be done. But yeah,
sure,
it's
it's. I mean, like you might do it probably if you have like an integrated water cooling system or something.
Yeah, my own setup is like water cooled.
More standard, I would say. Yeah.
So
So that's for talking about the competition next year. Right now there has been no submissions yet to the competition, and this is normal because actually people can only start submitting in about 4 minutes when the competition is going to start.
And then we're going to show the overclockers as well, because people are getting anxious. They want to see some faces, they want to see their heroes, and not the ugly bearded guy. And
yeah, so before the since we still have a few minutes, what if we just look at the AOC after movie from last year, sorry. So you guys can actually see some of the faces of the guys that are attending today, and you can have a better idea of what I meant with a gaming convention kind of thing, event thing. So we're going to have a look at that after movie video in a few seconds, and then we'll take a break. I will go grab myself some coffee because I think I do need some coffee.
I need something to,
some caffeinated something, and we will be back for the start of the Cinebench round after that. So guys, stay tuned and enjoy this after movie. welcome back. We are still here at the AOOC ASUS overclocking. Oh, ASUS, yes. So we actually didn't even explain the name. I'm just thinking about this. So AOOC ASUS Open Overclocking Cup.
That's
right.
it.
And so this is the 2014 edition, and I'm Tim, and I'm back here with Albrecht, my dear Albrecht.
Yep.
This is going to be an epic day because there has been actually quite a lot of changes while we are on the break, and actually it was perfect because we had the time to speak a bit with the guys
With
around.
the guys in the back.
And so Vlad made an announcement as well at that moment, because